Well, welcome everyone to Real Fellows Talk Sports. My name is Earl Rush, and I will be the show's moderator for today. We have a lot to cover for tonight, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We'll get straight to the point. Let's welcome from the sports capital of the world. Let him tell it, Mr. David Burnett. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. Superstar Caitlin Clark is back in town. She made an appearance to the media. She was on the Pat McAfee show. By the way, Pat McAfee films his show right here in Indianapolis, still staying here in Indianapolis as a punter, former punter with the Colts. So I'm really happy today because Indianapolis is a showplace of sports.
All righty. Okay, we're going to go to my old friend from my neighborhood, Charles Snowden. How are you today?
Go. I'm absolutely wonderful. You know I love getting with you guys, spending an hour talking about sports. I'm looking forward to the show. You always do a great job hosting, so let's get it on.
Okay, and to my longtime friend, Larry Abrams, how are you today?
I'm fine, sports doctor. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Oh, by the way, Larry and I will be doing an NBA playoff show on my this Saturday coming up when the Sports Doctor is in. Called The Sports Doctor is in. So Larry and I will be able to check that out. So let's get to the thick of things. We're talking about, not only are we talking about it, but everybody is talking about Caitlin Clark. Okay. So she's the first one picked in the NBA draft. She was on Saturday Night Live. This girl's doing everything. I just found out the Indiana Fever are giving her a free apartment and a free car. Things are looking up for her right now. It's all good. Okay. So let's get to it. What type of impact will Caitlin Clark have on being drafted number one? What kind of impact will she have on the WNBA? I'll start with you, David.
She's going to have a tremendous impact. She's already had a big impact. In fact, the draft drew the highest TV ratings that the WNBA draft has ever drawn, and that's largely because of the excitement that Caitlin Clark has transmitted to college basketball and now to the WNBA. I am thrilled by what she's been able to do and how good she is with media and just overall for basketball.
Okay. Larry, your thoughts on the impact that you think that she might have?
Well, I'm hoping that I expect her to play pretty well, so I'm hoping some of that following that she gets will go to the league. They plan on broadcasting a number of her games, so I'm hoping she does well and brings more attention to that league.
Okay.
I think she will too.
Okay, Chuck. We're trying to keep the show kind of short tonight, so don't go on a 30-minute soliloquy about Kate Clark. What type of impact do you think?
I think she's going to be terrific. I think that league is getting better and better every year over the last few years, and I think she is just some additional fuel that will keep that thing going. A lot of attention, and it looks like that the WNBA and the NBA are investing time and money and exposure to kind of keep that on the in front of us. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to check out some games.
Can I add this real quickly about the draft? There were other young ladies who presented themselves very, very well and smartly in the draft television show the other night. And I think that bodes well for the WNBA.
Okay. All right. So, Larry, you took economics in high school and in college. If you were Caitlin Why would you not take the $5 million offer? I just saw what the first 4 years of her contract were, and it would take years and years for her to make that compared to the $5 million she's offered. At least could she? They're offering it for 1 year, correct? Couldn't she just play 1 year and then go into the WNBA?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what motivates her. And right now she's apparently more motivated by basketball and playing in the WNBA than the 3-on-3. But it's a real good question. And it all boils down to what motivates you most. She's going to make a lot of money in basketball anyway, so I guess she's just feeling like with her endorsements and things like that, she'll make up for the money.
Okay, all right. I don't know how much these endorsements go, so I don't know. The first 4 years, she's going to make $338,000, and I can make $5 million. I got to look into that thing.
Well, again, it boils down to what is your primary motivator at a given point in time.
There you go. Okay, David, why do you think that she should not take the $5 million?
I think it's pretty simple to me. My sense is that she knows what her value is to the legacy and history and future of women's basketball. She has been anointed. Whether she becomes a great player or not, her place in history is secure. What she's done is unprecedented, and she's just a great player, and she's the lightning rod that the WNBA has needed for years. And I think she understands her place is very valuable. She's going to make more than $5 million probably this year alone in endorsements. So the $5 million from the big three means nothing. She would do damage to the women's game if she did that. And I think she realizes that.
Okay. All right. Oh. Ask David after show what damage would that do to the league. Okay. I don't want to disrupt the show because we get crazy or something like that. The flow's going very well. Everything is cool. All right.
I think this is what the fans talk about when they say to me, Chuck, Earl is funny, man. He is so good for your show.
I'm not funny.
I'm glad you do what you do, Earl.
So here we go. So, David, you were speaking of lightning rods. Mm-hmm. Do you think that she will be a lightning rod for the WNBA salaries rising?
I think so, because it's all tied into TV, the TV money that comes in. The WNBA ratings will increase significantly this year. There's going to be a new contract, and it's going to be distributed. The WNBA Players Association are going to certainly negotiate more money. I don't know how much more money. The base salary for somebody coming in like Caitlin Clark is like $79,000. The top end for somebody who's been in the league for years is like 200 and some thousand. It's a pittance, but it's also connected to the fact that, for instance, the Indiana Fever drew less than 5,000 fans per game for their 20-game regular home season. That's going to increase threefold. I believe the Indiana Fever will average at least 15,000 fans a game. So, and other teams as they go along, even those teams unassociated with Caitlin Clark will see an increase, because I think there's an interest. Angel Reese, she is popular. She is very popular on social media. She has 3 million followers. That's money. She makes a lot of money off of her social media presence. So we're going to see a lot of change. It may take a little time, because the NBA itself, I see a link between what's happening now with the WNBA and what happened with the NBA 45 years ago. When Larry Bird and Magic Johnson came in, the NBA was sinking. It took a couple of years, but it finally took off. By mid 80s, the NBA was off and running. I think this is analogous to that, and I think the WNBA can be off and running, and they're going to be great players who are going to emulate Caitlin Clark and are going to capture fans' imaginations. I don't know who those young ladies are going to be, but they are playing basketball now. One last thing I'd like to say. One of my students last year, in fact, played on the basketball team at the school I was working at, and she said she wanted to be in the WNBA. Guess what? That's her goal and desire. I believe she might make it, and that's what young ladies are saying right now.
Okay. All right. Charles, David took up the time that you were going to have, so we're going to move to another subject here. So, one more thing about Caitlin Clark. I can't stop talking about her, but you know what, Larry? I've really been paying attention. I always be focusing on Chuck. I think David likes Caitlin Clark more than Charles does.
Probably so. She's hometown now.
He's excited. He's whole vibrant and thing. This other girl can shoot a jumper came into town. No, I think she'll be good. By the way,
Indeed.
Dave, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but how is your pickleball game coming along?
Actually, it's coming along very well. I'm glad. You know what? I am appreciative that you asked. Yesterday was 1 year of playing pickleball. I play pretty much 4 or 5 days a week. I've become decent. I still get beat from time to time, but I'm pretty decent, better than I was a year ago. I love the sport. I want you guys to play it too. A lot of old people playing, and some of those old people beat my ass, and I beat their ass too.
Well, the reason why I asked
Yes.
you about it is because one of our sponsors said they didn't send the check, so I needed about 30 seconds for a commercial. I knew you were going to, so that was kind of like took up the commercial time that the sponsor didn't send the money for. So that was great. But I'm glad you're
Well, thank you for asking, Earl.
your pickleball is doing well. Okay.
It is doing well. Thank you.
So there are others, surprisingly, there are other players in the WNBA and in the draft. Chicago's team, I don't know their name, they drafted Angel Reese.
I think they're the Sky.
Thank you, Larry. My man, he's always got my back. Always got my
I think they're the Sky.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Angel Reese and Cardoso both got drafted in the first round by the Chicago Sky. Now, I think that's exciting and big news to me.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be pretty interesting as well, I believe. Okay. All right. Anything else that we want to say about Caitlin Clark? Anybody on this on the
The only
panel?
thing I would just add one thing. I think that she, even as far back as last year in the game against LSU and the whole thing, and I just think she hasn't missed a step. Meaning she's just carried herself. She says the right things. She stays in her lane. She's just such a good representative of the game and carries herself in a nice little Midwestern way. And on top of that, she can play. Again, she reminds me a little bit of the impact that Steph Curry had on the NBA. So we'll see.
Oh, we want to welcome Anderson Lattimore to the show. Anderson,
My man.
thank you.
What's up, Anderson? Now, he's one of the biggest Penn State fans there is. So thanks for joining us, Mr. Lattimore. Appreciate the support.
Okay, how tall is Angel Reese? Is she about 6'3"?
6'3".
Okay.
6'3".
I guess that's considered a tower in WNBA.
Cardoso 6'7".
Yeah, I just think I wouldn't look at a 6'3" person as being a tower, but for women,
How tall is the lady who was picked second from
6'7". He said Twin Towers. I just didn't think that a 6'3" is a tower, but that's pretty big for a women's league.
Uh-oh. What's up, Kung Fu? Thanks for joining us, big fella.
Kung Fu, what's up, man? Wait for you to say something wild and make me laugh. It's all good, Kung Fu. Yeah, all right. Okay. Who were we talking about? Oh, the other ladies in WNBA. I was pretty familiar with top 10 ladies that got drafted. As a matter of
You've
fact.
been paying attention.
Yeah,
They
and-
still got to go through Las Vegas in New York. They didn't get none of the top picks, but they already got talent.
You know, it's funny, and Larry, it's funny, you know, I've been making a big deal how well Iowa has played in that tournament in the last 2 years. And I suggested that Iowa doesn't have other great players. They got good players, but not anybody that's special. Well, Kate Martin got drafted by the Aces that night.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty good, and I think the center Hannah,
Stokey, the sophomore.
Yeah, she's someone that didn't play much the previous year, and we were talking about her coach not going out getting people. I think her coach knew that she had a player on the bench that could step up.
Right. That was just Charles having another rant where he wasn't thinking and just started saying anything when that happened. It's all good though. Okay, so are we through with the ladies, gentlemen? Or did I spend too much time? If I did,
We're never through with the ladies.
Okay, let's move over to the NFL draft. Larry Abrams, so far before the draft, what teams have seemed to have helped themselves the most with their acquisitions up before the draft?
Gosh, I know, like we talked a few weeks ago, some teams have signed some running backs, like Baltimore signing Henry. That's going to help them out a lot. I think Philadelphia signing Saquon Barkley helped them out a lot. I haven't really looked at a lot of teams that closely, but those are two that jump out at me that seem like they'll have an immediate impact.
Well, actually, you just reminded me we did have this discussion last week, so I appreciate you for not clowning me and kind of letting me know we've talked about this before. Maybe we should talk about something else. Okay.
Well, I wasn't trying to just give any subliminal messages. I was just thinking of what I had said before. I didn't want to contradict myself from earlier.
Okay. All right. Chuck, can you answer that? Feel like answering that question?
Again, the only thing I would add additionally, if you like the quarterback that was with the Vikings, he now has joined Atlanta, and now Atlanta has a signal caller. If you like him, God, why can't I remember his name?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Like Kirk Cousins. Atlanta picked up a quarterback, and they are very happy with that acquisition. And with all the offensive weapons that they have and a new coach, keep an eye on them in a sorry division.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago too.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to be redundant. Larry Abrams, let me ask you this. Let me ask the panel this. I know none of you guys care because none of you guys are Dallas fans, but I'm hearing from my sources that the Cowboys may draft a quarterback on the first round. What do you think about that decision? I know none of you guys care, but I'm just asking for content for the show. What are your thoughts on that, Larry?
I guess they could do that. They're not picking that high, so they're not going to pick someone that's going to come in and take Dak's spot. It might be a signal that they want to send out to Dak because they're in contract negotiations. But they have Love. Who do they not love? The guy that was with San Francisco's on their team too now, right?
Yeah, Trey Lance.
Lance, yeah.
Lance is on that team.
I think they already got a young quarterback, so I'd be kind of surprised if they made that move. But they could.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, David. Do you happen to have any idea what the heck happened to Trey Lance? I mean, about 2 or 3 years ago, that's all I was hearing. Has this guy even gotten on the field?
He played a little bit with San Francisco after they drafted him. Remember, he was the third pick in that draft a couple of years ago. He's now with Dallas, backing up in the backup position. He's not played. He barely played at North Dakota State. I think he played 11 games in his college career, and that's at the next level down from big-time college sports. So we don't know anything about him. I don't know. I think he could be good. It depends on how well he is paying attention to what Dak is doing, what the quarterback coach, the offensive coach, the head coach are saying and doing, and maybe he can be the replacement for Dak Prescott because Dallas is paying a lot for this dude. And, to re-sign him again would be about a $70 million a year contract. I don't think they want to do that.
All right.
I agree with Dave. Just to piggyback on that, I agree with you, David. Look, Green Bay showed us that Jordan Love sat on the bench for a couple of years, and when he was ready, like they used to do in the old days, he was very productive for the Packers. So maybe Trey sitting on the bench because he is still very young. We'll see how that perhaps works out. Even remember, Mahomes sat on the bench for a year too before they finally turned the reins over to him as well behind Alex Smith. So we'll see.
Well, one thing real quickly on Mahomes, the difference between Mahomes and Trey Lance is Mahomes played a full career at Texas Tech, whereas Trey Lance played at a lower division, even though North Dakota State is just as good as any team in the Mid-America Conference and Missouri Valley Conference and things like that. He only played a small percentage of his career in college, and that was still at a lesser division. So he's got a lot to learn. And it's hard to compare him to Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I think the thing we got to remember, he got hurt his rookie year. He hurt something on his throwing hand his rookie year. Didn't play that year. Then he actually played this next year in 2021, and he broke his ankle like in the second game. So he hasn't really had an opportunity to play. And after that, he was, last year he was down and got traded. Right. So he hasn't really had a chance, and we only really saw him like one game and part of a second game. So jury's definitely out on him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's that. Okay. So, excuse me, guys. Give me a minute. I had a private joke and laughed at that. But, all right. So, Larry Abrams, if you were the Washington Redskins, if you were the Commanders, would you possibly trade down? Would you trade down to get a couple more draft picks, or would you stick with going who you're going to draft with quarterback?
It would largely depend on my analysis of how good I thought the number 2 pick was and how far down I would have to trade. Definitely got to get a quarterback at some point. So let's just say if we thought Jaden Daniels and Drake May and Phoenix and all of them were relatively equal, and someone may be a good deal to go down to about 6 or 7, and I could still get one of those quarterbacks, I would consider it. But on the surface, from what I've seen, and I have hardly done the review that scouts have seen, I've seen a lot of Daniels last year, or a few of his games. He looks like the guy I would want on my team.
Okay. Charles Nolan, you're a Commander man. What would you do?
At this point, I would take Jaden Daniels. That's who I would. The only concern I have with Jaden is he's slight, he's small, but I think as time goes on,
he's 6'4", 210. What do you want him to be, Charles? What do you want him to be? 230.
Well, again, I think he's slight, and that concerns me. But that's the only thing that concerns me.
Okay. All right. David Burnett, both are healthy. Nobody had any injuries whatsoever. I guess that's what healthy means. Who do you take? Jalen Hurts? Or do you take
So you're thinking of Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. I would.
That's not who I'm thinking of, David.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Jalen Hurts. And there was another quarterback that I was comparing him with.
Jalen Hurts, the current quarterback of the Eagles, or Jaden Daniels?
No, I've had a senior moment. When I remember the other quarterback, I'll get back to that.
Well, let me just say this. So we're talking quarterbacks. If I was the Chicago Bears, I think Jaden Daniels is better than Caleb Williams. But they're so close in terms of skill level. Back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners. And I'm not concerned about him being slight. It doesn't bother me. I think he's got the arm strength, he's got the accuracy, and he's got the shake. He can escape. He ran over 1,000 yards, with LSU. Was one of the best players to come out in a long time. So if the Commanders are stupid enough, and they've been pretty stupid over the years, if they're stupid enough to pass over him, then they're fools. If Caleb Williams is available, you pick Caleb Williams. If Jaden Daniels is available, the Commanders pick Jaden Daniels. Period. They don't have any other choices. If they do, the people in the greater Washington, D.C., the DMV need to protest and boycott, period.
Okay. Well, welcome, Vince Johnson. Welcome to the show.
Cuz.
Texas acquisition should make them a high seed in the playoffs.
He's talking about the receiver. The kid from Buffalo.
So why are you telling me that? What makes you think that I don't know who he's talking about? Hello, Phyllis Johnson. How are you?
Phyllis Jones, this is a good friend of mine.
Hey, Phyllis, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Phyllis.
You think there's a serious consideration to break up the Warriors? Oh, the Warriors are broken up, Phyllis. They're gone. Clay's gone.
I'm not so sure. I think long as Steph Curry is there, and they signed Draymond Green. He's got a 4-year deal. Now some of their players may be gone. I expect Chris Paul to be gone. And Klay Thompson's a free agent, so he's a question mark now.
Yeah, that's over. He may have made it easier on himself on the Warriors last night. He went over 10. They're signing for, like Larry had suggested, about 20, 23, 24. So they may keep Thompson. But he's not getting $48 million like he thought he wanted. He might sign for $20 million or something. So he looks horrible. But he just had an off game, man. He just had an off game at the bad time. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. Okay. David, you think they're going to keep Klay Thompson?
Yeah, I think they should keep Klay Thompson, but at a much reduced salary. The person they got to get rid of is Draymond. Draymond is a very valuable component part of the Warriors, but the Warriors run is over. The problem with the NBA, let me just say this. The problem with the NBA is they stick with certain stars too long and promote the same sad people all over again. What about, you got too many great kids, the kid from Oklahoma City, you two of them from Oklahoma City, the kid from Minnesota. Where's the publicity for him? And we're worrying about Golden State. The hell with Golden State. They
earned, not given. Earned, not given. They earn it just like Golden State.
Well, if we move on, you move out. Excuse me, I'm talking. We move on. Sometimes the NBA needs to move on. Move on. If they want great ratings, they will move on and start to highlight other players, and they don't.
I think if you watch basketball, you'll see that.
I do watch basketball.
They highlight those guys.
I'm talking about the casual fan, not.
Well, us. That's a whole different thing. Usually the casual fan doesn't watch.
The casual fan,
they don't watch basketball.
Well, the casual fan is the reason that some of these players are making $50 and $60 million a year. It's not on the hardcore fans like us.
So tell you the difference about Draymond Green. And Earl knows I'm not a big fan of him, but I disagree with you thinking he's done, because they win most of the time when he plays. And he missed 25 games this year. Had they won a third of those games while he was out, they wouldn't even be in the situation they're in now.
Why was he out? Why was he out? He was out because he's out of control. That's the damn problem.
But they signed him to a 4-year deal, and Steph Curry's still there. I don't think they're necessarily done yet.
Golden State makes more money damn near than any other team in the league. They got enough money to buy this clown out, get the hell out of here. Let's move on.
Okay, I don't even remember us even going into the NBA yet. We
got a question about breaking up the Warriors.
Oh yes, Phyllis got that. Okay.
And now Lauren's chiming in too. Lauren, how you doing? She doesn't think they're done either.
Hey, Lauren, they are done, but we haven't even gone over. They are done. We haven't gone over to the NBA yet, Lauren. So hold on if you got any more NBA.
Hey, maybe this is a sign we're taking too long to get there. This is the NBA playoffs now. We're talking about other stuff.
Thanks for joining us, Lauren.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren.
And Lauren, you're right. They're not done yet.
Is that what she said? They're not done?
Right?
They're not done.
She doesn't think they're done.
They need to be done.
Oh, they can make a movement. They can make a movement.
Draymond just needs to stay on the court, and they might have a chance if he keeps getting suspended 25 games. They won't be back.
Let's champion Minnesota. That's all I'm saying.
David, you can't appoint who the people want to champion. The people dictate that.
And sometimes the people are stupid.
No, I
champion
Minnesota, but it doesn't mean Golden State is done yet.
I hope they're done. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, let's tiptoe back to the NFL right quick before we go to the NBA. Does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about in the NFL?
I do want to ask this distinguished group about a name that keeps popping up of late, and that is J.J. McCarthy. Do you guys think J.J. McCarthy, do you think he's going to go earlier than, all of a sudden he's in the, everyone's talking about him. He might even break in the top 7 or 8 in terms of.
Top 4.
Yeah. What do you guys think of that?
Why not? He was a national champion quarterback. He didn't have to do a whole lot, but he had a good coach. He was coachable. I don't think he's the best quarterback, but he's going to do pretty well. Provided he gets good coaching wherever he goes, he's going to do pretty well. Jim Harbaugh, the national champion coach, who's now the coach of the the Los Angeles Chargers, thinks highly of him. But of course, he should think highly of him. But he's not a fool.
Right.
I think J.J. McCarthy is probably a little highly rated, but I think he'll be a decent pro. There is another quarterback that came from Michigan, by the way. He's called the GOAT. Okay.
Interesting. I hear he might go number 7 to the Vikings. That's the name. That's the room. That's the thing.
I hope so.
I don't think J.J. McCarthy is worth coming out of in the top 5.
Why?
Yes, he was on the I haven't seen any reason why he should be on there. He was on the championship team. There are couple of games he played this year. He didn't even throw a pass in the fourth quarter. I don't know what kind of quarterback he's got. He hasn't shown. He hit a couple of crucial passes in some of the playoff games. That's a couple. But his overall play and show me this guy should even be drafted.
Oh
so,
my.
let alone the top 5.
Wow.
And not because he's a Michigan State guy, and I'm always on Michigan State. I'm always on Big Ten team. This don't have anything to do with that. This will have no Big Ten bias. He ain't showing me nothing. And I actually watch these college football and basketball games.
You're a sports doctor.
That's right. Okay.
There's so much that could be said to that, but I'm not.
And the floor is open. We still got time to discuss the NBA.
We got time.
The floor is open. You basically.
I just think J.J. McCarthy is going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be great.
Right.
And if he gets on a good team,
he's drafted in the 5th in the top 5.
He could be. It depends on the team's needs. And Minnesota spent 4 or 5 years, 6 years with Kirk Cousins, or however long he was there. Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round draft pick of the Washington Commanders / Redskins 13 years ago. J.J. McCarthy is at least as good as Kirk Cousins was, and we'll see.
What does that have to do with coming in and drafted in the top 5? What does
I'm just. It depends on the team's needs.
The guy you compared him to was drafted in the 4th round, so that's not even a reasonable comparison.
I think it's a reasonable comparison because the guy that was drafted in the 4th round, Tom Brady, became the greatest quarterback of all time. So what I'm saying is a Michigan quarterback can be.
He was drafted in the 6th round. He was drafted in the 4th round. You talking about Kirk
6th
Cousins.
round.
Chuck, why'd you ask this question?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
All I know is J.J. McCarthy's going to be okay. I think he'll be okay. And I'm going to stick with that.
There's a lot of chatter about him of late.
No, Kung Fu.
Thank you, Kung Fu.
That says it all. Kung Fu, my man. All right.
Well, I hope the Raiders have like the 12th or 13th pick, and no one talks about Penix much, but I hope he lands with the Raiders because I kind of like Penix. And so I'd like to see that happen. Maybe
You
he'd
like
be a
because he
backup.
used to be the
For
IU
the
quarterback.
first year, he could learn and then hand the reign over to him.
Penix is the third guy I would draft between
He can
the
throw.
all these. You talking about this McCarthy and all this Drake?
Penix has
Maycraft.
injury
I don't know
problems.
what's going on, man.
Both his
All right.
knees. He's what, 35 years old? I mean, look.
David, he's so tough. He is tough. He didn't get hurt last year, David.
He didn't. He played well.
And
All
anybody
right.
can get hurt. Anybody can get hurt.
Right.
Anybody can get hurt. My guy got hurt with the
Right.
Colts. So yeah, anybody can get hurt. You're right.
All right. Enough about the NFL. We don't got enough to talk about. We're all getting ready for the draft, and so
Next Thursday.
right now, nothing but speculations. Okay, let's go over to the NBA. Charles, what did you think about last night's playing games?
So let's talk about the Lakers real quick. I thought that the Lakers really got off to a wonderful start. They looked great. And then about the middle of the third quarter, all the way to the end, they just kind of held on. And it looked like LeBron and the Lakers kind of ran out of gas. But they won, and that's the important part. They won. And Zion was really, really good last night. And so was that little guy, Alvarado. He came in and gave them a heck of a spark. That game, I'm glad the Lakers won. And then the second game, boy, I tell you, Keegan Murray. Wow. That's a kid out of the Big Ten from Iowa. And he played his butt off last night, along with the kid from Alabama, Ellis, because they had two injuries. They had Horder out and they had Monk out. And they handled Golden State pretty good last night. I was surprised.
Okay. Larry Abel, your thoughts on last night's games?
Oh, I thought the first game was good. I thought that, like Chuck said, LA had a good start, but I always expect teams, particularly in this era or this time of the season, to come back. And New Orleans came back, but they didn't have enough to get back. I don't know if Zion hadn't got hurt, though, if they might not have been able to make it all the way through. And he got hurt in the basket when he scored his 40th point and tied the game. But I thought that was a very good game. The second game, Sacramento had an excellent game plan against Golden State. And they did what I heard Oscar Robinson said, we need to do to Steph Curry, guard him the full court. They put two good defensive guys on him and made somebody else beat him. And, if Klay Thompson had been hitting the shot, it wouldn't have worked. But he wasn't hitting the shot. And I was surprised at how they blew them away.
Well, what do you think about the Lakers game, Larry?
Oh, I said the Lakers game. I thought it was a real good game. And
I'm sorry.
I expected New Orleans to, make a run back at them, and they did. But the Lakers held on. They had enough savvy. And with Zion going out, I thought that was very big at the time he went out with about 2.5 minutes left.
What I take my hat off about LA is they made their free throws that entire game. And coming down the stretch, they made their free throws, and that helped them out a lot. And fortunately, they pulled that thing out. But
all right, David, I want to ask you about the two games, but I want to ask that if you're going to bash Zion, just wait for a couple more minutes. Don't bash him on this question I asked you about the game.
I'm not going to bash Zion because he had a very great game.
Okay.
Best game of his career. Most points he's ever scored. But guess what? He got hurt. He's not going to be available for game on Friday. That's tragic because I would have loved to have seen him follow that up. I wanted him to be great. He has the potential to be great. And I'll leave it at that because I can say some other stuff, but I'm going to be nice.
What do you think about
there was another injury on that team too. Ingram, we didn't see Ingram in the
Ingram hurt.
Wow. You think they just didn't play him? Huh?
Well, he's coming back from a knee injury, so this is only like his second or third game back. So I don't know if he has the stamina to do it. But you are into something, Chuck. He's not. I don't think he's 100%.
Well, let me finish my thoughts here.
You agree to trip?
I think New Orleans can win. Now, who they're playing? Who?
Sacramento.
Oh boy, no, they won't beat Sacramento.
They're missing two key players too.
No, they
The
won't beat
Pelicans
Sacramento.
got a coaching problem. You don't cap now. You don't not have Ingram, and even though McCullough was cold the whole game,
Oh,
you never know when he can heat up. You do not have McCullough and Ingram both on the bench in a crucial part of the last night game. You just don't do it. It wasn't supposed to.
Amen. Amen. You're absolutely right.
McCullough, that's a good point you just made, Go. McCullough had a really bad game.
He had a Klay Thompson game.
Yeah.
Maybe he made one shot.
Okay. All right. So we're waiting for the play-ins to finish off, so we can't make all our predictions because we don't know who's going to play who. We can just go by teams where they're rated at. But who do you like? Who do you like, Larry? Who do you like to win the tournament?
Well, I still like Denver to come out of the West and Boston to come out of the East.
Okay.
Philadelphia is my dark horse. They're trailing at halftime, 51-39. If they get in and play Boston in the first round, Embiid still doesn't seem quite to be in game shape. He's playing very well, but I've noticed in the games he's playing as well as tonight, they're challenging him and shots that he normally would block. I mean, they're really going at him, and he's not really playing above the rim. I haven't seen him dunk since he's been back either. So if somebody can catch him before he gets back into shape, Philly will be in trouble. But if he gets back into shape and they're like 2-2, Philadelphia could be the dark horse coming out of the East.
Okay. David, who does Indiana play in the first round? Or can you tell yet?
Milwaukee.
Yeah, they play
Indiana
Milwaukee.
plays Milwaukee, and I think Indiana has a good opportunity to beat Milwaukee with Giannis is hurt and will miss at least the first game and maybe more. One thing about Giannis, and you know how much I like Giannis, and you know how much I like Milwaukee, but I don't like them better than the Pacers. All I can say is that the Pacers have had good luck against Milwaukee this year. They had a 4-1 record against Milwaukee, and even if Giannis was playing, I think the Pacers should, if they find the will as a young team, as a young core, they can beat Milwaukee. Will they? I don't know. You know I'm rooting for them.
Who you got coming out the East?
In theory, it should be Boston. It should be, but theory doesn't always win.
Okay.
Boston has far and away the best record in the NBA, 10 games better than anybody else. You got to give Boston credit for that, but I just don't believe in them, even though I think they may come out of the East.
Chuck Snowden, who's going further in the Eastern Conference? Your Pacers or your Knicks?
Well, they're not my Pacers.
No,
But I do.
they're your Pacers and they're your Knicks.
Okay. So I like my dark horse. I'm gonna do like Larry. My dark horse in the East, even though I think Boston's gonna win it, I think. But my dark horse is the Knicks. I like the Knicks. And
The answer to my question would be: do you think the Knicks are going further than the Pacers?
well,
Because
definitely.
reason
Definitely.
why I'm interrupting you because you and David have a tendency to not answer the question that's being asked. I just asked you who you think is going further. So is it the Knicks or the Indiana?
I think the Knicks are going further.
Okay. Now, Charles, who do you think is coming out of the East?
I think Boston's coming out of the East, although I like what David just said, meaning I don't trust them and I just don't like them. I don't know that I don't think they have a formidable competitor on the East side that I can say, look out. But I do like the Knicks. I do like the Knicks. And so that's my dark horse, but I do think Boston's going to win the East.
Who do you think is going to take it all, Charles Snowden?
In the West, and you can guarantee it, LA Lakers. The Lakers will win. They will upset Denver, and I have reasons why. I think we found a Jamal Murray defender in Little Vincent, number 7 for the Lakers. Also, I don't think Jamal's going to shoot as great as he did in last year's series, and I think that the Lakers are fully healthy, fully ready to go. They got a lot of players now. Rui is fit in. LeBron's ready to go. AD's ready to go. They're going to upset Denver. I guarantee it.
Let me ask you this, Charles. What's up with you and this delusion of Vincent checking Jamal Murray? Where's that coming from?
He's fast. He's quick. He's in your face. I like it. I like it. When it happens, just give me the credit. That's all.
Okay.
We sent Chuck for drug testing after the show.
Okay, you know what? He has this. I'm just discombobulated right now. I don't even know where we are right now. Wait a minute. What were we talking about? He just threw me off.
NBA.
He said that's who he thinks coming out of the West.
Right. That's all I'm saying. That's who I think.
The Lakers?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You ask the question gets answered. That's all we can do.
So,
All right. Mr. Chuck, you know I love the Lakers too, but I don't know.
that's what faith is, Lauren. That's exactly what faith is. You have to walk in faith.
I'm with you, Lauren. I don't know about that one either. Okay. So
But then they'd have to beat Minnesota or
I'm only worried about Denver.
no, but I mean they'd have to beat them after that. So that's a rough path for them to go through.
The young teams will have to pay their
Real-
dues like everybody else pays their dues.
real quick, David, I know you do like Milwaukee, but seriously, what is wrong? What's
Doc
the problem?
Rivers.
Is it
What's
because
wrong with
is it because
with Milwaukee?
Is it because Damon's going through a divorce and he doesn't have anybody to talk to when he leaves practice?
I think it's a bad mix that they've got. I think Milwaukee is jumbled in their thinking from the front office down to the coaching, down to the players. I think Damian Lillard, who is a great player, was a bad fit for Milwaukee. They got rid of the coach after he only lost 11 games and they had won 30-some games. Milwaukee's making all kind of decisions, they're just picking things out of the air. I don't like it. They should never have gotten rid of Budenholzer. Never. Even though he wasn't the greatest coach, the players liked playing for him. He created a great atmosphere, and they don't have it anymore. And now they got the pitiful Doc Rivers, one of the most overrated coaches in the history of the NBA.
High five.
Okay.
High five.
All right.
And they're not winning anything with him. And if Giannis doesn't come back, they are not going to beat the Pacers. And the only thing hurting the Pacers is inexperience. And, are they ready for the big bright lights? I don't know. I want them to. I've been a Pacer fan from the beginning, 1967. I was there. So, you know who I'm cheering for.
All right. Larry, Dame Dollar is one of your guys you roll with.
Mm-hmm.
And you like Giannis as well. Can you tell me, do you have any idea what in the heck is going on with the Milwaukee Bucks? They look bad. They just look bad.
I'm an evidence-based person. It looks like the coach. Because even though certainly
High five.
they were 30-13, and of course Damon and Giannis have to get used to playing with each other. But they were 30-13. They're 15-17 after that
And he
move.
was a rookie coach.
Yeah, they're 15-17 after that move. So the evidence suggests that even though they had growing pains, they didn't do any better. Certainly didn't do as well once the coach got there. Giannis is having a great season. Giannis is the first player since, of course, everything is since Will Chamberlain, to average 30 points a game and he's shooting 60%. Matter of fact, I think he's the first person to do that. No one else has done that before. So he's having a great season offensively. And I know it was some growing pains between him and Dame, but they were still winning at first. And Doc came in to fix the defense. It seemed like he broke the offense.
Okay. All right. Charles, your thought, you pretty much agree with
I
David?
can't say it any better than both David and Larry said it. That they summed it
Okay.
up perfectly.
All right. Okay.
Ooh.
NBA. Can we still have a few minutes? Can we elaborate on this team right here?
I was going to, I mentioned this, and one person's not on this team. I doubt if he's on it because I only see 11 people. We talked about this at the meeting, and we were talking about who's not on there, but they added one more player. And you guys can guess who they added.
Yeah, they added Kawhi.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on this chart. It's only 11 on this chart, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
But
those are
They
the
didn't
first.
add him until today. This talk came out
Right.
yesterday.
Right. But I think we were talking about who should be on there. Somebody said, maybe Chuck said, and I kind of agree with him. Brunson could have been on there, and we were saying someone else. But
but SGA is Canadian.
yeah, SGA, he's on his team.
Right.
Yeah, David tried to clown me on the group today. Said,
Hey Reggie, thanks
So
for
Reggie, how
joining.
you doing?
Hey, Reggie. The worst talented team in the NBA. Whoa. The Bucks. Okay. All right.
Is he talking about the Bucks or the Olympic team? I don't know.
I think he's talking about the Bucks.
Okay.
Well, David, I think you like this team, man. This team good for you.
I think it's a pretty good team. I mean, because based on the way the game is now played, you've got a series of players who play it the current way basketball is played. You don't need really big men to get that done. By the way, when did Joel Embiid become an American citizen? When did that
Hey
happen?
Terry, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
When did that
Terry.
happen?
When did Joel become
An American citizen? Yes.
think
When did that happen?
He applied like a couple of years ago.
And he's
Yeah.
already gone to the ceremony and everything,
Yeah,
right?
he declared that he was going to be he was going to play for the U.S. I always
Well,
wondered,
good for him. Good for him.
well, he and Sayaka are from the same country, and I always thought that might be a pretty good start for a team there if they had teamed up.
Siakam is great for the Pacers, by the way. But I think this team, the Olympic team, is a pretty good team, but they're not. The team that's going to contest them most is probably going to be Canada and France.
Right.
Wemby.
I
And whatever team Luca plays for.
I
Right.
I mean, it's a good team. I think they lack someone with. They don't have anybody with any devastating speed. That's what I put in the group yesterday. And they're not that big. They only have one beast. That's Embiid. Everybody else, they don't have any size. I know the game has changed and evolved, and everybody shoot 3-pointers, so we don't need a real man under the center no more. I don't believe that, but that's what everybody believes. I think this team is kind of small.
You know who I think should go from this picture right here, and it's going to be a controversial take, but Kevin Durant should not be there.
Wow.
Kevin Durant is a great player, used to be. Right now, he's just a guy. He's just a guy. He's not one of the 12 best U.S. players anymore. I know that's controversial to some people and sacrilege to those of us who have lived in the DMV, because Durant is one of the great players to come out of the Washington, D.C. area, but he's not that good anymore.
Wow.
He's averaging like 27 points a game.
Larry, we just disagree. I don't think
No,
he's
I'm
one of the
saying,
top players.
I'm just saying he's averaging 27 points a game. That's an argument for him to be amongst the guys. I don't think you say he's just a guy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, to me, he's just a guy.
Well, Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant used to be the man. He ain't the man no more.
Charles, will you get on and trade David up for me right quick, Charles?
I think he should be on this team. I mean, if you guys said you have to take somebody off, you just have to. I'd probably remove Bam, but I don't know that. I haven't figured out who I would put in his place. But Bam, I think
He's the
one
backup
that's
center.
probably-
You got to have backup
But I'm
center.
saying Bam is the one. I think he's the less talented of this group.
I would take Bam and Halliburton off if I had to take somebody off.
I mean, when you say Halliburton, because the Halliburton's with the Pacers. I know
Whatever
what you're
reason
doing.
why I say it, that's what
I
I
know
say.
what you're doing.
That's what I say.
Oh, that's all right. It's all good.
Hey David, you can. I know, and I get the Halliburton thing, and he's young enough, and he's got a heck of a future ahead of him. But he didn't have a better season than Brunson. You're wrong.
No, I'm not
You're
going to
wrong.
debate. I'm not going to debate that. Brunson
Oh,
probably
okay.
should
But
be
you can-
there. Brunson, in fact, you're going to like what I'm about to say about Brunson. I think, even though I don't think he's going to win the MVP, I think he's moved up to at least number 2.
Wow.
He's had a tremendous finish to the season, and if he'd had that the whole season, he'd be the MVP.
But the
Let's
thing
wrap
about it, he and Anthony Edwards both came on after players on their teams got hurt. When Cat got hurt and when Lefty for New York got hurt, they really
Julius Randle.
kept their teams winning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kung Fu, I appreciate you supporting me
Earl Sanders say
continuously.
some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a show without Kung Fu coming on here, man. But not actively one sport. Okay. All right. Great. KD was last great was go. Oh wow. Reggie, you kind of
I agree with Reggie for one.
harsh, man. Are you kidding?
Now he plays on a team with Devin Booker, who's also a high volume scorer, and he's still averaging 27 points a game. I don't.
But he doesn't influence the game as much as he used to.
He averages 27 points a game. Okay.
But he doesn't influence the
What do you want him
game.
to do?
Let's
I want him to be a dominant player again. He's not a dominant player anymore. He's
That team
not.
wasn't healthy. That team wasn't healthy all year. They didn't play that many games together. You better watch that
Yeah,
team.
he's been the constant. He's been a constant player for them.
I'm not sold on him anymore.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, guys, let's move it on. Let's get to the final thing. The season's over, David Burnett. Your MVP is
It is the Joker.
Larry Abel. The season is over. Your MVP is
I'm gonna go with SGA.
Charles Snowden. The season is over. Your MVP.
Luka Doncic.
Those are
I
good.
like
Both are good.
I like
And
that.
yours, Earl. Who do you got?
Right now, I gotta go with Doncic.
Okay, he's a great player.
He's a
Great
killer.
player.
He's my Larry Bird.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
I'm serious.
Oh,
I hear you.
no.
Hey,
No.
yeah.
If Larry Bird was still, if he was still 25 years old today, he would be doing stuff you wouldn't believe. Because basketball is an evolutionary sport, so it's hard to make the comparison generationally.
Luka's doing stuff we don't
We
believe.
said MVP, Reggie, of the MVP of the league.
Reggie's
Kyrie
on
has
something
been balling though. I gotta give it to him.
Kyrie is not no MVP candidate.
Kyrie has been balling. I
Not
gotta
an
give it.
MVP candidate. Come on, Reggie. Come on.
Amen. Tell him.
They said, wow.
Okay, guys, this has been great. Right now, Charles Snowden, do you have a closing remark?
I do have a closing comment. So listen, and I have my Indiana University gear on. I just want to make a quick point about the portal. The college portal system has been so far amazing. There's teams that have been picking up lots of talent. Yesterday, Indiana University just signed the #1 player, a 7'1" center from Arizona, to their stash. They've made 3 portal additions. They got 3 more to go. Other teams, Georgetown signed some say the #1 guard from Harvard to Georgetown, Malik Monk. It's just a lot of the portal is making it's free agency with no cap, and teams can get right quick. And I find it fascinating. I find the college portal system fascinating.
David Burnett, do you have a closing comment?
I do. And this is an ode to Tiger Woods, who finished 16 over par at the Masters. Tiger Woods historically had the greatest number of years as the best player in the history of golf, but those days are over. It's hard for me to watch him anymore, but he is the greatest golfer in the history of the PGA and golf in general. Sayonara to Tiger. I wish you well, but stop playing, retire, and take your accolades and your history. Nobody can take that away from you.
Well, everybody says he's done, including myself. It's a possibility Tiger could get healthy. It's a possibility he can get healthy. And if he can get healthy, I would never count that guy out. But I think he's done. But he can get healthy. It's a possibility he can get healthy. If he's healthy, Tiger is always in it. Larry Able, any closing remarks to you?
Yeah, you go behind Chuck to the drug testing place.
Oh, wow.
He's done. He's done.
Wow.
He's done.
And this is my main man right here.
Hey man, when was the last time Tiger really made you think he was going to win a tournament?
The last time he won.
He won.
4 years ago, he won the Masters.
How
4 years
how
ago.
long ago?
4 years ago. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Come through, Tiger Woods is better than
19.
Jack
Do you
Nicklaus.
think do
He
you
was
think he's
43. He won
do
the
you think
Masters
he's
at
getting any?
43.
Do you think he's getting any better?
Well, he's got to get back in shape. He just recovered. From
He's damaged goods.
Yeah, 48 years old with those injuries.
Stop
Hey,
playing.
Kung Fu Tiger is better than Jack Nicklaus. Come on, man. Quit tripping, man. Come on,
It's a good debate, though.
It's not a good debate. It's not a good debate.
It is a good debate, Earl.
So
Matt,
I have a closing comment.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry I got us off track, Sports Doctor. Looking forward to the WNBA season. I think I'm a big fan of the WNBA, and New York and Vegas seem to have most of the talent in the last couple of years. New York always gets it, just like in a lot of sports, they buy stuff up. But Vegas has been pretty good. So I'm really curious to see the influx of these newer players, see if they're going to have an impact. So tune into the WNBA.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All right, guys. It was great discussing sports with you gentlemen tonight. I had a great time. I hope everybody has a very blessed and productive day. We will see you guys next week. Who will be the host? Charles Snowden will be the host next week. It will either be Charles Snowden or Larry Edwards, one of our great commentators. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Good job, go! Good job, gentlemen. Hey, Earl. Jack